Leah, Sarah Connor, Laurie Strode. These are women who we all grew up with. We all know their names. We can immediately put them in our mind. And in this topsy-turvy world that we are in, male-driven, here are more and more women coming to the front, starting to take their rightful place in the storytelling.
Do you know that I pray every night that he would escape?
Can you close the closet door?
I swore off doing the genre for one reason only. If you don't actively try to do something else, you will become pigeonholed to the degree where you cannot do anything else. And by the way, that's not to say that doing anything else is a requirement. It's a creative business. You could be very happy with that creative contribution. But by being somebody's daughter in show-off business, I recognized that if I didn't stop doing horror movies when Halloween 2 happened, I knew I would have no other opportunities. And I had done a comedy before that. I'd done a TV show where I'd done a comedy. And so it was the only time in my life I've ever made a conscious decision to do something creatively. And I said, I'm not going to do any more horror movies. Not because I didn't care about them, not because I felt that they were less than, not because of any other reason except I knew I would be limited. And I was hoping, I was young, I was 21. I wanted another opportunity to do something else. And within 2 months of making that decision, I had done a TV movie where I played Dorothy Stratton, and I did the movie Trading Places. So the truth is that it was a very good decision on my part. So I didn't swear them off, and I don't have any, I tried to be very respectful to the genre, even though I had moved on. But now I've done everything. I sold yogurt that makes you poop for 6 years. I did 2 TV series. I've done commercials. I did Hertz commercials with O.J. Simpson, where I used to be the one who ran through the airport and jump over suitcases while O.J. and Arnold Palmer kind of made jokes to each other that, isn't that what you used to be able to do? You know, I've done a lot. I've written 12 books for children. I've raised 2 children. I've been married for a long time. I've done a lot. So for me to be able to step back into Halloween was with a completely open heart and open arms. I think that John and Deborah Hill, who I think is predominantly responsible for Laurie Strode, created a character that an audience could get behind when this very creepy, evil force descended on this small town in Haddonfield, Illinois. And they sort of settled the story. If you imagine a big high shot from space coming down onto Haddonfield, going through the streets and landing in the window of that girl's bedroom, where she's singing to herself, I wish I had you all alone, just the 2 of us. I would hold you close to me, so close to me. Just the 2 of us, so close to me. And you realize this dreamer, sweet babysitter intellectual, that's who you're going to tell this story through. I think that's why. I think she represented the ideal that we have about American youth. She was somehow every girl. And as we discovered earlier today, I may work in a lot of different genres and have, as I said before, done a lot of different things. Laurie Strode is going to be the only character anybody's ever going to be able to name that I played. And that says a lot. I think people really loved her, and in loving her, loved me. I can't really speak from the intellectual overview. I did not go to college. I did not study feminism. what I know, the way I would relate to it with feminism, vis-a-vis this movie particularly, is that Laurie Strode from the beginning of the movie is trying to take back the narrative of her life that was taken from her by a violent man 40 years ago on a random night in Haddonfield, Illinois. There is no connection to her. There is no connect the dot back to her. It was random, which is why it was terrifying. And she has spent the rest of her life in a sort of PTSD frame of mind. And I think we find her where she's reached the end of that. It is the 40th anniversary, and she knows that he will come back, and she wants to be prepared. Whether anybody else in her life agrees with her, whether anybody else thinks it will happen, she knows it's going to happen, and she's going to be prepared for him. And that she's been preparing for it her whole life. Now, how that relates to feminism, taking back your narrative and saying, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore, is a culmination of what we're seeing with the Me Too movement. And again, I don't want to pretend I have some sort of pseudo-intellectual understanding or professorial overview of this. I just know that time's up, and we're seeing it in every area. We're seeing it in the military, in the clergy. We're seeing it in corporate America. We're seeing it in entertainment business. We're seeing it in the sports business. We're seeing it. The women, when I was at Comic-Con, I referenced seeing all those athletes, all those gymnasts on that stage stand up and claim back their strength after it had been abused by this prick who's having to be transferred because, you know, somebody was trying to get to him. I mean, I hope they all get to him, what he perpetrated on all those women. But you see, time's up. And it's time's up all over the world. And who better to represent that right now than Laurie Strode? So that's who we meet. I don't know if Laurie Strode was following the news like I was, but I think that's who we meet. I don't know if you read the CBS film executives, the CBS Films, the president of CBS Films made a statement about CBS and the current allegations against the head of CBS. And, you know, she was, of course she said that is not acceptable anywhere, but she also really put it into the context of both the predatory violence perpetrated by, purportedly Harvey Weinstein and other powerful men perpetrating violence, sexual violence, physical violence, career violence on women, and a milieu of powerful men strutting their power in a corporate environment. She's not condoning it. She's trying to put it into a context, and that's where I am. I guarantee you that every woman in this room has a story. Guarantee you. I have a story. I'm never going to tell the story because I don't need to. But there are women who need to, and I'm thrilled that they're getting the opportunity to. And in that, Laurie Strode is getting an opportunity to. Just take it back. And that, to me, is powerful. I have an example of that, which I think will completely, because again, let's be honest here, we're talking about a horror movie, right. A fiction. Laurie Strode is not real. Right. She's a character I played in a movie 40 years ago, and I'm playing her again. So when I work in any group of people, on the first day, I ask people to wear name tags. Hence, name tags. Because it's not fair that Luke knows my name, I don't know Luke's name. That's not fair to walk into a room and have everybody know my name and I don't know theirs. So I ask, wear a name tag and what department you're in. So I know you're a camera operator, Luke, and by the third day, I would know everybody's name. It's just the way of the world. So we had done that on the first couple days of the movie. And the last day of the movie was a sequence that is written where it's Laurie Strode alone in her truck, sitting outside the mental hospital, Smith's Grove, where Michael Myers has been kept for 40 years, and he's being transferred that night on a bus to Colorado, to a maximum security prison. And this woman is sitting outside that mental hospital, waiting to watch him walk into the bus, and then the bus leave as the final moment for her. Now, she has a gun and alcohol in the truck. And it's written that, I'd have to really pull up the script, but basically Laurie goes through a cathartic evolution. And by the way, I am alone in a truck at night by myself, no dialogue. So clearly what David was hoping for was a cathartic response to that happening. He didn't identify it. He didn't say what he thought it was. I'm an actor. I know what it was. So we shot it at night. And right as it got dusk, we went to set up the shot, not unlike this, where I'm here by myself and you all are there. And when I started to approach the set, and I had done my preparation, it was also the last night of the movie. And there's, residual emotion just saying goodbye to people. I don't like saying goodbye to people. We all had gotten to know each other very well. I approached the set, and the entire crew were wearing name tags. And the name tag said, "We are Laurie Strode. We are all Laurie Strode." And it was really powerful, because what they were saying is, we are all traumatized, and we are with you, Laurie Strode. We all are with you. The support she never got, the mental health services she never got, the loving, supportive friends and family she never got. And here was a movie crew who were all wearing these name tags as I approached the set to shoot this unwritten journey from waiting, hours waiting in the truck, drinking, got a gun, loading. Is she going to kill herself? Is she going to kill him? Is she going to get out of the truck? We don't know anything. And then to shoot it was just incredibly powerful. And that, to me, was sort of the defining moment for me, because what they were saying is the same thing that everybody who showed up at a memorial for those Parkland kids, where it said, "We are Parkland. We are all in this together. And if we're in it together, we have a chance to make a difference and to change the narrative of the perpetrators. But you can't do it alone." And to me, that was a great moment, was being given that gift from this crew that I cared about. And needless to say, it was, it was kind of a crazy moment for me. And by the way, just to put a ribbon on it, we were 12, 14 miles outside of Charleston on something called Ashley Phosphate Road in a truck warehouse. Like, it was a truck business, and we were in the parking lot. So on top of all of it, that moment that occurred was out in the middle of nowhere. Well, it's not in the middle of nowhere. The people live there. Now, see, people are going to watch this and go, "I live on Ashley Phosphate Road. It's beautiful there." Even though we're all distracted by all the social media and all the toilet paper television and toilet paper media, and we all are on our frickin' phones, and everybody's swiping up and down and doing this all day long, little bits of content going in our brains, I think we still want to connect with integrity to a person. And Leah, Sarah Connor, Laurie Strode, these are women who we all grew up with. We all know their names. We can immediately put them in our mind. And in this topsy-turvy world that we are in, male-driven, here are more and more women coming to the front, starting to take their rightful place in the storytelling. And that's it. I think it all has to do with integrity. And I think every one of those characters was a character with integrity. And the movies had integrity. And I'm thrilled at 40 years later. As I said to you before, I sold yogurt that makes you shit for money.
I hope that goes on your tombstone instead of...
The truth of the matter is, I am incredibly proud that I'm sitting here today talking about this movie and this story and this woman and this worldview. And that I get the opportunity to do that is not only a privilege to me, but it's something that moves me to tears, because we all are trying to figure it out. There's not a human being I know who's not trying to figure it out. And so I think it's really something to be proud of.